All right, let's talk about something that might seem small, but trust me, it's a huge quality of life upgrade for any JavaScript developer. This was the only way to grab the last item in an array. But here's the thing, it's not just that it looks ugly. This old way is genuinely a problem. It's wordy, you have to repeat the variable name, and let's be honest, how many times have you made a typo? Or worse, forgotten that crucial -1? It gets messy fast, especially when you've got long variable names. Well, thankfully, the era of doing mental math just to get an array item is over. Let's talk about a much more natural, way more elegant way to do this. I'm talking about the .at method. This is pretty much the hero we've been waiting for. So, what is it exactly? Well, the at method is super simple. You give it a number, an index, and it gives you back the item at that spot. But, and this is the absolute game changer, it can take negative numbers. And when it does, it counts from the end of the array. And this right here, this is the magic moment. Getting the first item with .@0, okay, that feels pretty normal. But getting the last item with .@-1, that feels like a total revelation. No more .length, no more -1. You literally just say, hey, give me the last thing. Really, the best way to think about it is this. It's like you're finally speaking English instead of doing math. The old way made you calculate a position. The new way lets you just state what you want. It's a shift from calculation to clear communication. Okay, to really hammer this home, let's put them side by side. A little old way versus new way showdown. This is where you'll see just how big of a deal this is. I mean, just look at that. On the left, you've got that clunky old syntax, repeating the variable name users. And on the right, users.at-1. It is so much cleaner, it's concise, and you know exactly what it means the second you see it. It's not even a contest. So yeah, at just wins, hands down. The readability is way, way higher. It's also safer, which is a huge deal. If the item isn't there, it just gives you back undefined, instead of potentially breaking something. That's a lifesaver when your data is always changing. And then there's how versatile it is. And here's a really cool bonus. This isn't just for arrays. It works on strings too. So if you want the last character of any string, you just use .@-1. How handy is that? It's just so consistent. Okay, so far you might be thinking, all right, it looks nicer, I get it. But now we're going to see why this is a genuine superpower, especially when you're working with dynamic data that's always in flux. Let's jump into a real-world example. So let's imagine you're a teacher, and you've got this list of students and their scores. It's just a big jumble of data. Some high scores, some low scores, you get the picture. Now, what you want to do is create a brand new list of just the high achievers. So you run a filter on it. And here is the really important part. You have no idea how many students are going to end up in that final high scores list, right? Could be 5 students, could be 1, could be 0. And this is where at is just brilliant. How do you find the last person in that filtered list? Simple. You just ask for it. High scorers .@-1. You don't need to know how long the array is. You just say, give me the last one. It's completely effortless. And this really shows you its power. You can easily poke around in this dynamic array without knowing its length. Want the first student? .@0. The last one? .@-1. Hey, what about the second to last? Easy. .@-2. It's just so flexible and clear. Now just for a second, think about how you'd get that second to last student the old way. You'd have to write out that whole length -2 thing. But what happens if your filter only found 1 student? Well, the math doesn't work anymore, and your code could just break. The old way isn't just hard to read, it's genuinely fragile. So this all leads to a much bigger point. This isn't just about a neat new trick. It's about a new standard for writing our code. It all comes down to coding with clearer intent. There's this quote that just nails the whole mindset shift. @-1 clearly signals, I want the last thing. But length -1, well, that just signals I am doing math to find a position. The difference in clarity there is just massive. And that's really the key takeaway. When someone else on your team, or even you 6 months from now, sees .@-1 in the code, they immediately know what you were trying to do. Oh, they want the latest piece of data. It creates this common language that makes everything easier to read, to maintain, and to debug. And that kind of leaves us with the final thought, right? This whole shift from that clunky array.length -1 to a simple .add at -1, it just goes to show how a small, elegant change can have a huge impact on our code's quality and clarity. And it really makes you wonder, what other parts of the code we write every day could be made this much simpler?